This is the risk assessment cycle from the Charity Commission.
Stage 1 is carry out a risk assessment. No matter what size they are, charities which consider risk and its management in a structured way and make a clear risk management statement in their annual report are likely to benefit in many ways. This includes enhancing charities, effectiveness and accountability, and strengthening their reputations among beneficiaries, partners, donors, supporters, and the public. So next is stage 2, which is use processes and procedures and take actions to mitigate and manage risk. So once the risks are identified and evaluated, trustees can draw up a plan for the steps that they are considered need to be taken to address or mitigate significant or major risk. So there are 4 basic strategies that can be applied to manage or recognize risks. These strategies can be identified as the 4 T's. So number 1 is transfer. The financial consequences to third parties or share it. In this context, for example of this is through the terms of conditions of a partnership agreement or grant that enable the charity to claw back the grant or payment in certain situations. So number 2 is terminate. The activity giving rise to the risk completely. In this context, for example naman po nito is by refusing the grant or not accepting the project or stopping a particular activity or service. The next is treat. The risk through effective management. In the context of giving grants or supporting projects, the best way to manage risk is to carry out proper due diligence and act on its results, ensuring there is suitable and regular reporting. Other ways of managing a specific risk include making grants in smaller amounts conditional on certain events happening, or satisfactory reporting and auditing, or making an initial grant first and making it easy to terminate this. So last T is tolerate. The risk one that cannot be avoided if the activity is continue. An example of this might be where trustees take out an insurance policy that carries a higher level of voluntary excess, or where the trustees recognize that in an emergency situation, the main concern is to get aid to those who need it. Not all risks can be avoided entirely. The general approach is that the greater the risk, the more the trustees need to do to be able to demonstrate that they have discharged their duty to manage. Stage 3. Training staff and implementing systems. Procedures and processes only work if they are properly implemented. Charity staff, volunteers, and other personnel need to know what those procedures and how they work. They will need adequate training to ensure that they are familiar with the systems and procedures. It is very important that they know what action to take if they suspect misconduct and criminal financial abuse. By understanding their own and others' roles and responsibilities, individuals are more likely to be able to identify and report wrongdoing. So we need to train our staff, of course, because kapag nagkaroon ng isang problema, of course you need to know the solutions, of course the solutions, and para malaman kung ano yung mga pagkakamali. So last stage, monitor and review performance. Risk management extends beyond setting out systems and procedures. The controls identified to mitigate the risk must be capable of implementation, and the implementation and its effectiveness should be appropriately monitored. Risk management procedures need to be sufficiently flexible and responsive to ensure that the new risks are addressed as they arise. They should also involve periodic checks in order to identify new risks proactively and ensure that the approach to risk management remains fit for purpose. Risk management is not a one-off event and should be seen as an ongoing process that will arise out of monitoring and assessments. So, hindi lang kailangan basta-basta agad na mag-donate or gumawa ng isang project. Of course, you need to plan what kind of situation kapag ando dun na po tayo sa tamang process. And of course, hindi lang siya basta-basta. So, the risk assessment tools compromise, there are 3, of course. One is the SWOT analysis, 2 is PESTEL analysis, and last is risk matrix. So, these 3 are makakatulong sa atin dahil about dito sa risk assessment cycle. So, that's all and I know. Hindi ko man masyado na-explain, but yun yung pagkakaintindi ko dito sa risk assessment cycle ng Charity Commission. And that's all. Thank you!